everybody. Today I'm talking about moon's importance in analyzing Vimshottari Dasha. This was part of my Vimshottari Dasha conference that I did in 2025. And also, you could say it's part of the Vimshottari Dasha Masterclass that I have other recordings as well. But moon has a key position in analyzing dashas because it is the nakshatra of the moon that decides all the dashas. And also, each of the dasha lords is in a particular nakshatra, and the nakshatras are ruled by the moon. So, therefore, looking at the moon nakshatra and moon's position, its health, its dignity, its house placement, all those are very important. So this is a long masterclass for you, and let us explore. Hello, everybody. This is Komilla Sutton, and we are talking moon's important in analyzing Vimshottari Dasha. This is from my 2025 Fresh Talents of Jyotish conference. And do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Thank you very much. And so the thing is this, that moon, nakshatra, and Vimshottari Dasha. Nakshatra of the moon tells us of the Vimshottari Dasha the individual will experience, how the soul story unfolds. Moon's nakshatra at birth decides the first dasha. This morning, Dennis Harness showed this whole story through the lens of Sri Yogananda. And this is really our story is unfolding. And so it's Moon's nakshatra that decides. Depending on the placement of the moon, the first Vimshottari Dasha is revealed, and accordingly, the whole pattern of life. Saturn, Rahu, Ketu as the first dashas are difficult. The reason they are difficult is that in you see, we are children at that time. So a number of people, including Raman just now, said dashas are inherently not good or bad. Even Swami Sita talked about it. It's how we use them and what we do. And there is sometimes potential for difficulty, but as we mature, we learn how to manage these things. But as children, these are more complicated because we are too young to know. And as the first dasha, that is the problem that is there. And the ascendant of the natal chart, whether it decides whether the first dasha is good or not for you. Dashas are how the chart reveals itself. This position decides what are going to be positive, negative times of life, expressions of prarabdha karma, or the test the past karma is putting into this life. And depending on your nakshatras, Ashwini, Magha, Mula is Ketu, Bharani, Purva, Phalguni, Purva, Shada is Venus, and so on. I will share my slide with online so you can look at all these dashas. This is just basic information. And this is Lionel Messi's chart, and he's the great footballer, but soccer player too in the USA. And you can see his moon is in Mrigasera Nakshatra. And so the first dasha would be Mars. I think it's quite appropriate. Mars is also athletic and sporty. And so Keiko is doing a talk, I think, tomorrow on the first dasha. So that's a very important talk for you. But we see this aspect of the moon. So his dasha, here you can see Lionel Messi, first dasha Mars, Atma Karaka, moon is Amatya Karaka, but he has Mars Rahu as his first dasha. And so that's just the technical aspect of it. But my talk today is about the moon and what is the importance of the moon. Now, all the photographs, mostly I've taken myself. This is a moon um, temple in Chennai, beautiful moon temple, quite far away and out of Chennai. And he did a wonderful prayer ceremony for us. And you can see moon is all decorated in white flowers. So the importance of the moon rules the nakshatras and the mind, and moon influences all the planets through their nakshatra position. I've written a book on the nakshatras. You should look at that. But you see there that moon is influencing every planet. Each planet is in some nakshatra, Rashi, nakshatra. So the moon's quality is very important. The ruler of Vimshottari is the moon, as its nakshatra decides the first dasha. So, so moon's position, conjunction, dignity in the chart is key. Moon influences the whole chart as the most important underlying force. In fact, this morning, Dr. Charak also talked about sun being very important, but my talk is about the moon. And because the moon is our emotional self, how we think, our ideas. So therefore, what is the moon up to in your chart? That is the first thing that when you're looking at your chart, or you're looking at a client's chart, you want to see what is moon up to. And this is again Lionel Messi, and you can see that his moon looks quite good here. It's exalted, it's with fifth lord, Venus, which is in its own sign. Although moon Venus sometimes can be more emotional. And so on the face of it, definitely the moon has good energy, but Saturn does aspect almost directly. So however good your moon is, there's always going to be some issue that you are dealing with. And moon and nakshatras both represent the mind. Moon's position in nakshatra, its lord, decides the first dasha. Nakshatra of the Dasha Lord, its ruler, its dignity are also important in analysis of the chart. So that is my next lecture. My next lecture is on Monday morning, because I thought I always doing at night. So I'm going to do first lecture on Monday is on nakshatra analysis of the Dasha. Nakshatra represent the mind, higher, lower energies, daily struggle for peace, calmness amid the uncertainty and pressures. They show the mind's ability to be part of the higher self, also the emotional chaos, unhappiness, sorrows the mind deal with daily. You see, the mind is so sensitive to whatever is happening in life. And therefore, what we have to be aware is that we have to nurture our mind. And that is what is important. Today, Swami Sita gave an excellent talk about how to manage our mind and all the yogic things. So, nakshatra position of all planets show how their mind works. Each dasha is influenced by its nakshatra ruler. As I said, I'm going to be talking about that on Monday morning at 7 a.m. So moon is the mind, sukha, contentment. Sukha is a word that's not easily, people translate it as happiness, but it's that combination of happiness, contentment, peace of mind. You're happy what you're doing. Mind controls our subconscious, the reactions to present, And crises happen when we are unhappy with the present. You see, crises happen when our mind is not able to cope with desires, ambitions. Our moon is not able to cope. When we talk about the mind, we are talking about the moon. The importance of the moon, the dignity of the moon in the birth chart is key to analyzing the dashas. It is the lord of the nakshatras and subtly influences all the planets. So, what do we look at in the moon? The fivefold dignity. Exalted, debilitated, own sign, friends, enemies. It's tithi strength, waxing, waning, Amavasya 8, 14th, Rikta Tithi 4, 9, 14. These are all complex. Actually, I'm going to be doing a workshop at Sedona on the Panchanga. My book is also there, but this is Tithi strength is very important in analyzing the moon. We are just not looking at the fivefold dignity. Then the house position of the moon, Dushtana, 6, 8, 12 house is always difficult. 8th house is Marana, Karaka, Sthana, most complex. Conjunctions with Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars, Sun are challenging. Benefic conjunctions can also impact the moon. Moon-Mercury conjunctions can bring up too much thinking, lead to emotional instability. Moon, Venus, we saw that in the chart of Messi, too romantic. But I want to say something about the Marana Karaka Sthana of the moon in the 8th house. You see, every position in the chart can be difficult, but it is also manageable. I myself have moon in Marana Karaka Sthana, and when in the 8th house, and as a young person, I always say before astrology, my life was in such a mess, my mind was in such a mess. And then the Jyotisha and yoga have helped me. Today, I don't even feel that quality. But yes, it may have brought some things in my life at a younger age more so. And then even with the conjunctions, you see, don't look at something immediately, this is negative. It's how you use it, how you may have certain restrictions in your chart, and we all have them. So we have to understand them and not be afraid and worried about this thing. Then isolated moon can need support. It can be troublesome if no remedies are done, gives the inability to enjoy the positive unfolding of karma, and can be very unsteady during challenging times. Then aspects of Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars is tough. Multiple malefic aspects on the moon can be very challenging. Then transit, Saturn, Saresati, Rahu, Ketu, eclipses. And then you have to check all this in the Navamsha. So when you're looking at all these different aspects, you will wonder, I'm sure that my moon is not perfect and I have issues to deal with. And this is really important to understand because all of us have some issues. Uh, if moon is compromised in your chart, it impacts everything. All dashas are compromised if moon is troubled. You see, the point what I'm trying to make is because moon is the ruler of the nakshatras, all the planets are in the nakshatra. Moon is ruler of, it's from the moon that your Vimshottari Dasha is starting. So therefore, if the moon is not so happy in your chart, then it's going to, affect everything, and people will feel impacted by that. That is the thing that you have to understand. But remedies are the key. And this is why I always put a lot of importance on remedies. And then moon's other aspects are, even if your moon is strong in the chart, Moon is unstable by nature. It waxes, wanes. It conjoins with Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars monthly. It's part of the eclipses. So, in a month, at least one day, it will be tight conjunction with Saturn, with Rahu, with Ketu, with Mars. It has a full moon, new moon, Gandanta transit. So moon is up to a lot of things. And that means our mind is being impacted. Sometimes if Dasha is good and life is good, we don't feel this energy. But people who are troubled and who are seeking something and not getting it and unhappy, then all this unstable moon will have an extra impact on them. And then moon itself transits to the moon. Moon will experience transit of Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars. These challenge us. So right now, if your moon is in Aquarius and late degrees Aquarius, you have a Saturn conjunction, Saturn going over your moon. And then Rahu is in Pisces, Ketu is in um, Virgo, and then we are coming up to Moon Saturn conjunction at 1 degree Pisces. So these are things that are happening, and so moon, wherever your moon is, then there's other difficult transits, eclipses, all sorts of things. Every year there is some drama taking place, and everything impacts the mind and the moon. And therefore, if it impacts the moon, it's impacting our dasha, our experience of it, unless we uh, do something about it. So, what are the influences on the moon in our natal chart? There will be influence then by its monthly transits that we experience. Transits to the moon all impact the mind, impacts the dasha, as more is, oh, it's got the wrong thing. Moon is the ruler of all planets. As moon is the ruler of the planets and dasha through the nakshatra. So to enjoy our dashas, we must protect our moon through regular remedies. It's not that life should be just full of remedies, but we do things, we have a proper diet, we have a proper, we make choices, we do regularly. But before we look at that, let's look at Adele. She is a basic aspect of hers. Moon is in Jyeshta Gandanta. First Dasha, Mercury. Mercury is in the fifth house of creativity. But what has happened when you have moon in Gandanta? The dasha changes instantly, or you are either in Mercury dasha or in Ketu dasha. So that is important to see. And there we have her North Indian chart and South Indian both. And you can see here, moon is 29 degrees 30 minutes. It's right, this fire and water. And this particular Gandanta is regarded as most difficult Gandanta. But I've noticed that a lot of artists who have Gandanta, and especially singers and musicians, they can transfer their emotion into creativity, that Gandanta position. And I think Adele, if you have listened to her music. And then, of course, the Lord of Scorpio, Mars, is exalted. So that is a strong element for her. And Nakshatra Lord is also there. But you see, I'm always looking at what is difficult, but then what is the solution? Here we can see moon is also Atma Karaka. So in a way, Adele with her music and everything, she can be very emotionally needy, stormy as well. But how she manages that is very important. Then her Panchanga, which is very important to study for the moon specifically, other things as well, but she's born on the fourth tithi of the dark half. This is also known as Sankata Chaturthi. It is a Rikta Tithi and also Gandanta, which you know. So you see that fourth Tithi, it's a water on water Tithi. That means that there's a lot of huge emotions, like this big tidal wave of water, and there is no support for it. So that is the thing with her moon. And right now, she's in Moon Jupiter Dasha. So here we can see Moon Jupiter started November 2024. Last couple of years, she was in Moon Rahu, which is very challenging. Moon Rahu is one of those challenging dashas. You know, she's moved to USA during that time, but Moon Jupiter and um, Jupiter is Gandanta. Rahu, ignore that. That was the last dasha. But Jupiter, much easier. Moon, Jupiter. Because Rahu, why Rahu is difficult for the moon? Because Rahu is always challenging the emotions and disrupting, and moon doesn't like that. So that is something to look at. And then we looked at Lionel Messi's chart. Looks quite good here. And we'll say, yeah, that is a good moon exalted in, its nakshatra lord is Atma Karaka, Venus is there. But when we look at his Panchanga, he's born on the 14th Tithi. 14th Tithi is very complex, and it's dark, just before dark half. And the Karana is Shakuna. Shakuna means doubtful. Yoga is Ganda. So all these things impact Lionel Messi. But 14th Tithi, especially, it's just the day before the new moon, and it's belongs to Rudra. So Rudra is a very angry form of Lord Shiva. So therefore, maybe in Lionel Messi's chart, his sport, where they are being aggressive and things, it is helping him to deal with it. So that is a good thing. So I think I've already. So yeah, so the moon, because of its rulership of the nakshatras, uh, I, the nakshatra represents the mind, subconscious, conscious, superconscious. So you see, mostly when we are dealing with the moon, we are dealing with the subconscious. That means something happens, we immediately react. We immediately get angry, sorrow, cry, happy. But what Swami Sita especially taught this in one of her workshops is that yoga helps us to convert that subconscious to conscious and then to superconscious, because then we are mindful of what we are doing. We are not rushing into things. We are mindful of what is happening, how we are going to react, what we are doing. So we have to think about all this. It's easy to say, but it is not. Um, Sorry, that's, I think, an old chart. I should have removed them. So again, we are looking at Adam Levine. He's a musician. I seem to have all the musicians' charts today. It was not planned, but that is how. Now we see here moon is in Gandanta, not Gandanta, sorry, exact degree of debilitation, 3 degrees of Scorpio. That is a very intense moon, and moon in Scorpio can be very obsessive. So one has to learn to flow, not get stuck in things. So to learn to train the mind to flow with situations. Those of you who don't know Adam Levine, he's a musician, and he was also with Maroon 5, or is with Maroon 5. He was one of the judges in Voice. So he's quite well known. But here you see Jupiter exalted Jupiter aspecting his moon. So that is going to help him. And right now, he has started Venus Dasha. So again, in the Dasha, what is going to happen is that Venus is in Mars Nakshatra. Uh, Mars is with Ketu. So Venus is having this Mars Ketu influence. And then underlying that influence, it's having the moon influence. So you see, when you're just looking at a dasha, and these are relatively simple things to understand. You're looking at the dasha, you're looking at its nakshatra. I'll talk about nakshatras on Monday. But you're also looking at uh, moon. That are you, sometimes, the moon is so disturbed that we are all the time unhappy. We're not actually thinking about enjoying our life because we all the time feel hard done by. Here, moon is also isolated, no planet either side of the moon. There's cancellation of isolation by the Saturn and Mars in Kendra, but isolated moon as well, individualistic, different. So all these things have to be thought about. And Adam Levine's moon is exact degree of debilitation. This will impact every aspect of his chart. So therefore, according to me, if you don't address your moon as in your life, your mind, your moon, you are actually not helping yourself at all, addressing all the other things, because that's the core factor in the chart. And this is Michael Jackson's chart again. Now, moon in the Lagna, that is usually challenging, moon in the Lagna, because why is it challenging? It makes you too emotional. Although this morning we saw Yogananda Paramahansa's chart with the moon in the Lagna, but he was an exalted soul. So he knew how to deal with the situation. And Michael Jackson living in the material world, you could say, and in a rock star lifestyle, that is not promoting. And of course, moon also rules the sixth house. Here it's in Shatabhishak Nakshatra. No, I think it's Purva Bhadra Nakshatra here. Purva Bhadra Nakshatra. But if we look at Michael Jackson's Navamsha chart, here in the Navamsha, you can see moon is with Ketu and Mercury. In this South Indian chart, you can see here moon with Mercury and Ketu. Moon Mercury is a very challenging conjunction. The reason is because they're both planets of the mind. Mercury is the child of the moon, and you are thinking emotionally and analytically. And in this Navamsha, Saturn is aspecting the moon, and it's in the Rahu Ketu axis. So, that will, this inner picture of the Navamsha was adding to the issues as far as Michael Jackson was concerned in his, the inner emotional life, which he was very much talking about. And moon is Purva Bhadra because you see, moon being in Purva Bhadra Nakshatra, it's ruled by Jupiter. And if we look at his Rashi chart, there's Michael. If you look at his Rashi chart, Jupiter, Moon, Rahu are together. So that Jupiter first dasha is Rahu in the ninth house. So that Rahu influence was very strong for him, even though this doesn't look as if Jupiter Nakshatra would be troublesome for the first dasha. But, when you look at moon is in the Lagna, makes one very emotional, can impact every aspect of life. And moon in Navamsha is with Ketu and Mandi. And Mandi is the son of Saturn, and Ketu is deals with a lot of rejection. And you see, the thing about studying astrology is that we are studying something with self awareness, and we are getting to be aware of ourselves so that we can do something about it, not for saying this is bad or this is good. And then we have Elvis Presley. And as Elvis Presley, you can see directly Moon Saturn conjunction in the fourth house. That is very complicated. And his that is again, it brings in a kind of almost like a depressive energy. uh, and then in the Navamsha you can see Moon Mercury aspected by Mars, aspected by Saturn. So not an easy energy. I'm looking at Graha aspects. You can look at more if you know more. And Elvis's Moon Saturn conjunction in Aquarius would have colored his life and experience of, is it in Aquarius? Yeah, it is. An experience of all the dashas he experienced. You see, the point is this, that it's not that success was not there, it's that enough function or dysfunction that you can see. Life as a rock star does not usually promote a more spiritual life, as ambition and adulation will dominate, and there'll be a lot of enablers as a rock star. And then that aspect, you're not got time to think about trying to work for it. So basically, what I'm saying here, and the essence of all what I'm saying, is that all of us, we should consider nurturing our moon and thinking about the remedies. So the remedy to the moon is unstable by nature. It's essential to do remedies for the moon if you want to enjoy a good quality of life and enjoy the Vimshottari Dasha. So, I'm talking from my personal experience as well. I have moon in the eighth house with Saturn. And I can remember as a young person how unsettled my mind was. And now I think because I'd done regular remedies, I've been mindful about what I am and trying to improve the quality of life. I'm not perfect, but as I said, that the remedies do work. We should consider balancing remedies, Ayurvedic diet, beautiful nature, eating, sleeping at regular times, discipline, concentrating on what you undertake, yogic practices, asana, meditation, mantra, sadhana, dhyana, aimed at trying to keep the mind emotional instability. So, Swami Sita talked about why asana is important, because it slows the body down. You're not trying to do aggressive, you're kind of mindful of how your body is flowing. And but here I have divided these remedies into three. One are practical remedies. So top of the thing is make wise lifestyle choices. Create a schedule, meal times, waking, sleeping. Do not over stress. So by that I mean also don't bring stress into your life. Food is very important. Eat healthy, seasonal food and on time. But I'd also order sattvic food. You're not having food which is overly spiced or overly, because food is something that directly affects your mood and your mind. So having good quality food, but having also relatively simple. I don't want you to have your life so boring that but still one changes. Try to keep to a schedule. Do not unnecessarily change aspects of life unless necessary. So jobs, career, home, uh, you know, uh, all those things, unless then if you start a project, you finish it. So often people keep on chopping and changing. They're doing something, then, okay, I'll do something else, I'll do something else. In the long run, it may be one change is okay, but in the long run, it creates a very unsettled life. Avoid chopping and changing your life. A balanced lifestyle helps a balanced mind. Living a simple life, try not to complicate it too much. Sometimes clients will ask me, oh, I want to buy this thing, I can't afford it, I take double mortgages, do all sorts of things. You can complicate your life. So you do need to be very conscious of that. Then a relaxation, uh, just as important. Communicating with nature, bringing balance. I think I put balance too many times to a life when there is a lot of stress. Recognizing how much stress you can take. If your moon is challenged in the chart, you must create balance between ambition, desires, and your mental ability to cope. One of the things I see people who have major emotional crisis and feel very unhappy is that they keep on taking on things, and they don't uh, think about, are you able to cope with all this? If you have certain aspects, then you may not be happy with able to cope. So how much you can manage, we can't be perfect, but we can do lots of things. Then the yogic remedies, uh, by following many yogic disciplines, we learn to deal with instability. Asana, pranayama, ashtanga yoga, 8 limbs of the yoga. I would suggest that you should listen to Swami Sita's lecture today again. Was very brilliant, and she gave a lot of the yogic techniques. And basically, the Raja Yogas, which are given in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, there are 8 limbs, Ashtanga Yoga, it's called. Ashtanga Yoga is not the pop thing you go and do at a gym. These are serious things: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So, yama and niyamas, do's and don'ts, what you should do, what you should not do, discipline, focusing. Asana is the yogic practice, pranayama is the breathing practice, pratyahara is detachment from desire. That is very important, to be able to detach, that I can live with this, I can't. So many people, their desires really cause the unhappiness. And especially if the mind is unsettled, then that would be even further pressure. Dharana is concentration, which is what I said, don't chop and change things, concentrate on things. Dhyana, meditation. So you see, meditation is coming in the number 7. It's not coming first, because you have to do so many practices till you can sit down and meditate for hours at an end. A yogi can do that. And finally, samadhi. Samadhi is like moksha or self-realization. So these are Ashtanga yogas. These are part of the yogic remedy. You have to do a little bit of everything. And then the spiritual remedies, prayers, pilgrimage, yagyas, homas, shantis, pujas to pacify the deity. Today we had the Navagraha puja. We all participated in it, which was very good. Then keeping good company, satsang. Satsang means the truthful company. Have you thought about who do you associate with? People perpetually criticizing you, putting you down, um, leading a super kind of negative lifestyle will take you down. But if you start, at least try to have good company, uh, you know, think about who you are with. The spiritual company, the satsang means that. And then, of course, spiritual studies, And donation, giving time, support, money, karma yoga, seva, voluntary service, selfless service, prayashchit, learning to take responsibility of your karmas. If you've made a mistake, then recognize it. You can fix it. But if you don't even are not self-aware, then that is not a good thing. So, remedies for the moon are essential. And when you do remedy for the moon, all the other things also improve. Walk in the path of the planets, be aware of uh, their negative, positive influences by dasha and transits. Challenging transits or dashas tend to interfere with all good intentions and impact the moon. So you see, the point is this: we are going to come up with challenging transits. We are going to come up with challenging dashas. And therefore, if we have some conscious planning of what we are doing, then the challenging dasha may not be as challenging, or challenging transits may not be as difficult. And the key factor here, which is what I was wanting to make you aware, that moon impacts the dasha and bhuktis, and it gets impacted by them. So it's kind of an ongoing circle, and we have to try to step out of that circle. And this is me. Earlier this year, I was in Kurukshetra. This is a Shiva temple. I'm standing outside there. And thank you so much.